everyone, Marian here. Welcome back to my channel and Shana Tova. I want to wish you guys a sweet and happy new year. In honor of Rosh Hashanah and the Jewish New Year, I wanted to share this beautiful and delicious recipe for you guys for an apple rose cake. So I call this an apple rose cake because the apples are in the shape of roses on top of the cake. But don't let looks deceive you. This is actually a super simple, easy recipe. The original cake part of this recipe is adapted from Myrna Rosen's quick and delicious cake recipe, so that should tell you exactly how quick and delicious it is. Yet let's jump into the apple rose cake for Rosh Hashanah. So first let's talk about the ingredients. We've got flour, sugar, baking powder, margarine. I'm using a par of margarine because I want the recipe to be pareve because I'm serving chicken for lunch for Rosh Hashanah before the cake, so I want to make sure it's a non-dairy cake. That's why I'm also using water here instead of a 1 cup of milk, which I would use if I was making a dairy version. Then I've got eggs, vanilla, and this is where I've adapted the recipe. I'm adding cinnamon and pumpkin pie just to give it that fall spice to it. And then I've got a whole heap of apples here that I'm going to chop up. I'm actually going to be using my KitchenAid spiralizer. I'll show you guys what the box looks like. This is actually what it looks like in the box. As you can see, it does all sorts of different designs with vegetables and fruit, etc. So I love using mine, and I'll show you guys how it works to make the roses. So to start off the recipe, you're going to add in 1 cup of margarine into the mixer with the sugar. By the way, in the description below, you can find the exact quantities for the recipe. I'm going to mix that together until it's well combined, and then I'm going to add in the eggs. I'm using 4 eggs in this recipe, and again, mixing till they're well combined. Next, I'm going to add in the flour and baking powder mixture. I sifted them first together. In between cups of the flour mixture, I'm also adding in the water so that it mixes evenly. Again, if you were making this a dairy recipe, you could use milk. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and finally I'm going to add in the pumpkin spice mix and the cinnamon. And those are my main ingredients mixed together. I'm just going to stir with a spatula to make sure it all goes through. Okay, so now it's time for the fun part. The cake batter is all done and resting, and now I'm going to spiralize the apples. So you just fit it in there, and then you use the same black screw. Then use the same black screw to screw it on. Okay, then you just want to place a bowl underneath to catch the apples. Next, you're going to take the fruit, hopefully you've washed it before, and just jab it right in the center, like so. And then this is the blade that I'm using, and I'm going to attach this in as well. And then with this little lever, you just scoot this until it also is in the center of the apple. Then all you have to do is turn on the mixer. Okay, so I'm going to finish slicing my apples. I'm going to do about 4 or 5 just to give me some extras to make sure it all looks pretty and that the cake is really full on top. And then I'll show you guys how I assemble it. To soften the apples to help them form into the rose shape, you're going to put them into boiling water for just about 2 minutes. You just want to soften them just a touch. And I added a little bit of orange juice. You could also add lemon juice to the water. I think it just helps their flavor. Okay, so I've taken my apples out of the boiling water after just about a minute or 2, just so that they're soft and pliable to make the roses with. Then I filled up my pie pan with the cake dough. You could also use a springform pan or any type of pan where you can either lift the bottom or the sides. Because you can't flip the cake over when it's done baking because of the roses, you just want something where you're going to be able to get it out. Or you could just serve it in a pie dish if you prefer. So I filled it up. I've left a bit of space up here at the top because I want the cake to not over explode out of the pan as it's baking. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how I do the roses. They are still a bit hot, so I'm just being a bit careful, but I'm also just can't wait to get this thing in the oven. But I'll show you guys what I do. So all you're going to do is twist the slice of apple so that it forms a cone or rose shape. It's really simple, and don't worry if it breaks or anything like that because you want it to look rustic. So I think that just adds to the appeal. Okay, so here's a really small one just to show you guys how it looks and how easy it is. And now that I've twisted it into its shape, I'm just going to place it into the batter. I'll do a few more and then I'll give you guys a close-up of how it looks. I also don't want them to be uniform or shaped in a specific pattern. I want this to feel really rustic, almost like an apple garden or a rose almost like an apple orchard or a rose garden type of natural feel. So I just took the cake out of the oven. It's cooling now. I'll show you guys how it looks, and then I'll take it out of the pan and plate it for you guys. But oh my goodness, the house smells so good and it looks so good. I'm so excited to show you guys. So here is how it looks resting. I definitely had a little bit spill over, but that's totally fine. Once I pop it out, you're not gonna see that. It's gonna look great. And look how beautiful she is. Oh my goodness. So that is my apple rose cake, all finished, all set, ready to go for Rosh Hashanah lunch next week. I'm so excited for you guys to try out this recipe at home. If you do, definitely let me know, and if you take any pictures, tag me on Instagram so that I can see them. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to see more Jewish content, hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!